Hello, and how's everyone doing today? Welcome to the channel if you're new, and if you're a returning viewer, I'm glad to have you back. Today's episode of Justin Talks Games, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be about Resident Evil 1. Not the director's cut, not the remastered on the PS4, not the remake on the GameCube, or the DS version, but the original 1996 Resident Evil 1, the one that I started off with. It's also going to be about my Resident Evil collection. I'll be showing you guys some pictures of the things that I have, and just my overall feelings of the series. So it's going to be a little bit of a different episode, but I hope you all enjoy it. So grab your drinks, grab your snacks, and let's talk about Resident Evil. So Resident Evil 1 came out in 1996. It was inspired by a game called Sweet Home is what it was called. It was a Super Nintendo game, an NES game, and it was about a group of people who ran into a mansion and had to do with puzzles and escaping the house, all that kind of stuff. So Resident Evil 1 was originally, from what I remember, it was supposed to be a first-person shooting game. I'm really glad that it didn't turn out that way, to be honest, because we wouldn't have a Resident Evil that we know and love today. So there's so many things that I can say about Resident Evil. If I sound a little bit different, it's because I have a little bit of a cold, so that's why I'm a little bit off today. I have a bit more coughing and stuff. You probably noticed, but that's alright. So, I remember the first time entering the mansion and just being very surprised. And because it was desolate, there's no one around. And the first time I went into the dining room with Barry, we walked around and there was no one there at all. And I remember Barry walking up looking for blood. He saw blood, that's what it was. And I remember in the main menu there was a Chris Redfield and a Jill Valentine. Now, Barry walks up to the blood and he says, "Whoa, it's blood. Let's hope this isn't Chris's blood." And I was like, oh man, this is not getting off to a good start. So, I do apologize for that. So you do a bunch of puzzles and you explore the mansion, and the second hallway that you go into, or the first hallway I should say, not including the dining room, you walk down the hallway and you see this person who looks like it's biting another person, and you walk up and it turns to a cutscene, and the person turns their head slightly, kind of like this, and you can see the eyes that are rolled into the back of their head. And they turn around and they try and bite you, and they try and attack you. You notice that your partner is dead, so you turn around and you run back to the dining hall where Barry is. Barry shoots the zombie, and you go back into the main hall with Barry looking for Wesker, but Wesker is nowhere to be found. And basically that's where the adventure, I guess you could say, starts. Because you have to go around the house and do a bunch of different things. If you go to the right side of the house, there's a hallway, a long hallway that kind of comes down, it's like an L. So it kind of comes down this way and then it goes this way. When you're coming down the hallway like this, there's two windows, one on here and one over here. And and when you're running through, I can't remember if it's the remake or if it's the original. I know in the remake, when you first run past, they jump at the glass, and you get to see pieces of the glass hit the floor. The glass doesn't fully break. In the original one, there's zombie dogs, and the dogs jump right through the window, and you don't expect it. There's no music change, there's no nothing. They just, boom, jump right out like that at you. Kind of like the liquor in Resident Evil 2 in the interrogation room. So you go down that hallway, and there's a shotgun in another room, in another hallway. You grab that shotgun. If you're playing as Jill, you grab that shotgun, and there's one room connected to another room. I'm not very good with explaining things, but there's one room that's connected to another room, and sorry about that. So one room is connected to another room, and when you come out of the room from grabbing the shotgun, there's a square room that connects to the hallway. So when you're in that square room, the roof starts to come down, and both doors lock. And you think, oh, I'm going to get crushed, I don't know what's going to happen. Barry comes and he saves you. And that's where the joke, you almost became a jiggle sandwich, came from. The voice actor for Barry messed up the line. It was supposed to be, you're almost a Jill sandwich. But he said jiggle sandwich by accident. In the remake of Resident Evil 1, he says, a few more minutes and you would have fit nicely into a sandwich. So the joke's still there, but they change it. What's another thing? I remember seeing the hunters for the first time. This is when you come back to the mansion, because you leave the mansion, you have to go to a guardhouse and do a bunch of other stuff. Now I remember coming back to the mansion, and there's these big, I want to say almost gorilla type things, and they're scaly, and and they come after you. And these guys can take your head off in one hit. Doesn't matter if your health is fine, doesn't matter if you're danger or caution or orange caution, it doesn't matter at all. Those guys don't play around. And you don't want to fight them with a handgun or a knife, especially in the original ones. I find in Zero, Code Veronica, those ones, they're a bit easier to kill with a knife. But yeah, in the remake and in the original, especially the original PS1 Resident Evil, you don't want to play with them, especially with a knife. You either want the shotgun or the grenade launcher with the acid rounds. You can use the Magnum, but you don't want to use that. You want to save that for the end boss. I remember seeing the caves for the first time. And just the ambient sound, like the water dripping and everything, it had a really scary feeling to it, I guess you could say. And you could hear the clacking of the feet of the hunters as they were off screen walking around. You couldn't see them. Their howling screech when they jump toward you. All these crazy things. The lab where they created the zombies and stuff. They had zombies in gowns. They had naked zombies. And then you had a bunch of notes explaining what they did and stuff. They did all these crazy things. And then you find out that Albert Wesker was the lead researcher at that facility. And you confront him, and I can't remember if he shoots Barry or something. I can't remember. No, sorry, Barry walks away in the original one. Barry turns around and he basically puts a gun to your head. And because the thing is that they don't tell you, you don't find out until later in the game, is that Wesker is manipulating Barry the entire time. He told him that Umbrella has kidnapped his family, and that if he doesn't do everything they're going to say, he's going to get them shipped to a lab and used as test subjects. Now, the whole thing is a lie. Barry doesn't know this, though. Barry's family, Moira and all of them, everybody's safe and fine at their house. And Barry doesn't know this. So, they have this confrontation, and Wesker walks around to the other side of the hallway because there's a door that he's behind. So he walks around and he's basically telling Jill, oh, I'm going to show you the Tyrant, which is a very strong, powerful biological weapon. So he starts talking about the Tyrant, and Barry sneaks up and he hits him with the butt of the gun like that in the back of his head and knocks him out. Jill and Barry decide to go into the lab, and they discover the Tyrant and a bunch of other labs and test tubes and all these kind of crazy things. And I remember Barry, he pushed some buttons on the computer. He meant to shut it down, but he ended up draining the tank and releasing the tyrant. And he would admit that he was very clumsy. Now, that wasn't his fault, because he didn't know, obviously, it's a computer, he doesn't know what button to push, so... But anyway, you fight the tyrant, and you take him down, and an alarm goes off. Self-destruct alarm goes off. And you're like, oh man, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of here? It gets really tense. Another thing I forgot to mention, throughout the game, you find these things called MO discs, or MO discs. And there's 3 of them you have to find throughout the game. The first one you find in the first half of your exploration of the mansion. When you come back to the mansion, after exploring the guardhouse, so your second time back in the mansion is where you find the second one. The third one you find in the lab itself. Now, after you find all 3 of these, you put them all in, and it unlocks a door, and you go in this door, and you go around the corner into the jail cell. Now that's where Chris is. Wesker has imprisoned Chris. He took him hostage. You don't find this out until later in the game. You don't find this out until the lab. Actually, you don't find out he's imprisoned until Chris actually tells you, but you don't find out Wesker is part of the lead researchers until later in the lab, where you're watching an old projection, and you're going through the slides and stuff. And one of the pictures says lead researcher and has a bunch of researchers, and Wesker is right in the center. So you start to put things together. But anyway, like I was saying, so the self-destruct sequence is going, and you have this intense music going. It says it unlocks all the doors. So now you run back and you save Chris, because all the doors are unlocked. Now, it depends on which game you're playing. In the original Resident Evil 1, on the PS1, Wesker, you can find Wesker's dead body killed by the Chimera. It's a type of BOW. In the power room, where the self-destruct sequence is. If you're playing the GameCube one, Wesker gets stabbed by the tyrant and thrown aside. If you're playing the... which one was it? Trying to remember. Oh, the Dreamcast one. Wesker is actually a zombie in that one. And he's in one of the rooms in the lab. You find him and you can kill him. He's a bit harder to kill, but you know you can kill him. So after you do all that, you escape, and Brad comes back and picks you up in a helicopter. Or no, sorry, he comes to pick you up in a helicopter, and then the tyrant smashes through the concrete, you know, like a crazy man, and he wants to fight you again. And at this point, he's stronger, he's faster, and he's taller, and it's just overall crazy. For the longest time, it was one of the hardest fights, and even to this day, it is still one of the most intense fights that I have in a Resident Evil game, because he's very hard. Though the original Resident Evil game is very difficult, due to controls and enemies and such, so. But anyway, Brad drops the Flash rocket launcher, which is actually an incendiary rocket launcher. So he drops that, and you blow the tyrant up, and then you leave, and the mansion blows up, and everything is good to go, and, you know, happy ending, they fly off and stuff. It wasn't until Code Veronica where you discover that Wesker is still alive. Now, Wesker is a big part of the Resident Evil series. In my opinion, they kind of screwed his character up in Resident Evil 5. I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that. But decided to throw, Wesker Children Project and all that kind of crap. I'm not going to get into that in this episode. But originally Wesker is supposed to stay dead. He was never supposed to ever come back ever again. His character was so well received, though. Capcom was very surprised that they brought him back in Code Veronica. And Chris and everybody is so surprised to see him and stuff. So that's the basic rundown of the original game. If you guys want to know more about it, it's pretty cheap on the PlayStation Store. You can also get the remake of it on the PS4, PS3. I think it's about $19, something like that. The story of the remake and the original are very, very similar. There's some minor changes, some little different things. In the remake, there's an added character named Lisa Trevor, and she has the G virus in her. And she also has the NE alpha parasite, which Nemesis has. I think that's it. That's one of the major things that they added, and that's about it. That and in Wesker getting stabbed by the Tyrant, instead of Barry stopping him. Other than that, it's pretty much the same, so you won't be missing out on the original story at all. But I figured now, we'll switch to showing you my, my Resident Evil collection. I think you guys will enjoy it very much. I hope you guys do. So without further ado, let's get into the collection. Okay, so as you can see here, these pictures are pretty old, to be honest. So they're gonna be pretty fuzzy. So I just wanna, show you guys some of the stuff here. So this is pretty much just an accumulation of everything that I had at the time. And yeah, we'll just go through some pictures here. So as you can see, this is the chainsaw controller for the PS2. It's pretty cool. We have the zombie from Resident Evil 1 Remake. I have that. So this is the the side of the chainsaw going through Leon. I'm not going to spend too much time on these pictures, to be honest, because I don't want the video to be too long. Just here, as you can see, you got your nice felt top here. This drawer right here has this is where you store the cord where you can plug the controller in. I got the regenerator here, but this is the Iron Maiden one with all the spikes on him. He actually does hurt to pick up. It's kind of funny. I got Krauser here. Now right here, and right about here, there's supposed to be these spiky things. I lost them a long time ago, and I don't have them. But this is Krauser. I thought he was pretty cool figure to have. This book here, Fire and Ice. I'll be honest, I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. It's a pretty thick book. It's kind of hard to tell from the the angle of the picture. We got Chevy here with the sniper. The sniper's kind of broken off, but so here we have a collection of games here. I got Resident Evil 0. I got 2 copies of 1. One copy of Resident Evil it's missing a disc. I think it's this one. I really don't remember. Obviously, you got Outbreak 1 and 2. Umbrella Chronicles, Dead Aim, Dead Aim, Veronica, another copy of Veronica, and Resident Evil 4 here. You got a figure of Vector here, he's pretty cool. And so here's more of the games. So you got Resident Evil 4 here. I got 5 for 360. Another copy of 5 for PS3, the Gold Edition of Resident Evil 5, Raccoon City, and Resident Evil 6. And here's the logo from the chainsaw. Another Resident Evil game that I have, Resident Evil Gaiden, however you say it. It's pretty rare and it's pretty hard to find. This game, I'll admit, I have not finished yet. This one I really like because it's a misprint. Obviously, it's the chainsaw guy from Resident Evil 4, but it says 801 written on the box. So that's going to be worth some money someday. I've had that for a really long time, and to this day, it's still in the box. Of course, we got the Garrador from Resident Evil 4. These claws actually come off, so when you store them away, nothing gets broken. You got the instruction manual for the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller. And here's just some more pictures of it. Here's the side. You got the blood all over and over here. Resident Evil 2 for the 64. I'm not going to get into it, but Resident Evil, the N64 version of Resident Evil 2 is actually the best visual version of Resident Evil 2 that you can get of the original games. The sound quality is a bit compromised because it has to be compressed due to fit on the cart, but visually it's the best copy of Resident Evil 2 that you can get. Director's Cut, pretty cool. I'm still, honestly, to this day, looking for a long box copy of Resident Evil 1, the original 1996 one. I still have never come across one, and that's one thing I really, really want to get. Here's Leon from Resident Evil 4. The figure isn't bad. The face definitely isn't the best. But as you can see, knife. This part here and this part here I taped this because his hands came off for some reason. So that's not actually part of the the figure. Here's a full view of the chainsaw box without it, without the chainsaw in it. Here are the terrible Resident Evil movies. I have all of them at this point. Some of these pictures aren't up to date right now, to be honest. The last thing I have for these pictures is the Resident Evil 2 Collector's Edition. But as you can see, we got Resident Evil 1, Apocalypse, the third one, whatever these are, and the animated one. This right here, it's kind of hard to see, is actually the VHS copy of the first movie. This thing right here is the PSP version of this one here, so it's a UMD, which is kind of neat. More pictures of the thing. Here's the collector's edition. So there were some comics that were made from Resident Evil. I read them. I don't remember anything too much about them. I did read them all a long time ago. They weren't too bad. As you can see down here, I also kept the what do you call it? The movie tickets for the movies. And, got my Wesker glasses, just some sunglasses that I bought. I don't have them anymore, though. Just some sunglasses that I had a long time ago that I thought they kind of looked like Wesker from Resident Evil 4, so I guess added them to the collection. Here's more of the chainsaw controller again. And here's some books. Now, these books are actually really good. I would have to say 0 Hour is one of my favorite ones. And Veronica was pretty good as well. Now, this copy, the reason why I took a picture of Resident Evil 2, because I do have all the PS1 games, including Survivor and all them, but I didn't want to take a picture, or at least show you guys every individual little thing. I thought it would take a little bit too long. This copy of Resident Evil 2, though, I mean, it's not on it right now, but up here and down here, my copy of Resident Evil 2 is actually signed by Allison Court. I met her a couple of years ago with a friend of mine, and I thought that was really cool. She was really disappointed that she wasn't able to be in the Resident Evil 2 remake due to a bunch of things that, I'm not going to get into, but she wasn't too happy about that. But she's a really nice person, really cool person. If you ever get a chance to meet Allison Court, definitely do it. I have the Resident Evil 6 artworks as well. Pretty cool stuff in there. And I have the Resident Evil 4 player guide. This copy box of Resident Evil 2, the N64, this is not a legitimate real copy. A very, very good friend of mine, actually, a graphic designer, he does a lot of work and stuff, and he actually made me this copy of Resident Evil 2 box. And I thought it was really, really cool. It was really, really nice of him to do that. And I currently actually keep my Resident Evil 2 in this box. This Resident Evil right here, same thing. The same friend who did this one over here also did this right here. I don't remember what the actual game is. It is an actual game. Like, you could put it in a Nintendo system and play the game. I think it's a sports game or something. I don't know. But he made the artwork. He did all of this stuff, and I thought it was really cool. I like how he did the Resident Evil Resident Evil 5 Wesker, the Resident Evil 5 Chris, and the Resident Evil 3 Jill with the umbrella logo. I thought that was really neat. Now, these keys here are the keys for the Resident Evil 1 mansion. Now, I have all these. They're actually, I think in the next picture you'll see, They're in a glass case that a friend of mine put them in. Okay, so not the next one. Now this picture here is pretty cool. Oh, zoom in a bit. This is actually the Raccoon City Times newspaper that came out with the second Resident Evil movie. As you can see, I have it in a nice picture case and stuff, and it's on my wall. You know, it's a pretty cool thing to have. Now this is what I was talking about. So you can see a nice box, and you got the keys here. A friend of mine, the same one, like I said, who did the other two things, the one case, and the and the NES game, made me a map of the mansion. This is the first floor of the mansion, and as you can see, it looks really nice. It looks kind of ripped up and torn. I thought it was really cool. We also put these patches right here, the USS and Spec Ops. I got these from the special edition of the what's it called? Oh, what's that game called again? Operation Raccoon City. This patch here came from the Resident Evil 5 Collector's Edition, and I have the 20th anniversary minifigure of Nemesis. Now this guy's pretty cool. I'll zoom in a little bit. When I took the picture, it's a bit bright, but let's see if we can zoom right in here. The detail in the face is pretty good. I like it. As you can see, it comes down here. You got the tentacles and tendrils and stuff. The hand, everything is perfect and proper. Right down to the rocket launcher. And if you look here, Resident Evil 20th anniversary. Now this is these are the final pictures that I have for you guys. So this is the Resident Evil 2 2019 Collector's Edition. So this is the box that it came in. This picture here is of the first floor of the police station. You got the police station here, and you got some more diagrams and stuff up here. I thought that was really cool. This book here is it's supposed to be the art book. Now, in my opinion, honestly, they didn't hit the mark on the book. In my opinion, my good friend has the Devil May Cry 5 Collector's Edition, and the art book for the Devil May Cry 5 Collector's Edition, in my opinion, is a lot better than the Resident Evil 2 Collector's Edition. It's pretty much just these pictures and a few pictures of the police station hallways and all that. It's nothing to be super wow about, but we'll zoom in and we'll look anyway. Just random things, you know. So this is the top of the box, RPD, and it's pretty cool. And then when you open it up, you have this box here. Written authorization required to read this file. This right here is the art book right here. This is the front of the box. Now this is the figure of Leon. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on some of these. The detail is actually very good. The camera I was using wasn't the best for capturing quality, but it was pretty good. I do have a bunch. This is the extra DLC pack, where you get the extra costumes and stuff. And we got some more Leon here, so let's take another look. I got a couple pictures of Leon here. So this is the back. Lots of stuff on him. And you got another one. And this is the digital soundtrack. Now, this is something I wish they put in the Resident Evil 3 Collector's Edition, but it seems like so far that they never bothered to do that. But, oh well, at least we got it for this one. This is the top of the box, same thing. So this is the very top. I'm actually doing this backwards, to be honest. I don't know why. So this here is the very top, and this square thing right here is where the game would be, and then you have the what do you call it? The map, and then you take this out, and under this is the art book. So here's the other side of the police station.
map. You have the whole front of the police station, all these different places. More things of Leon. These don't come out. This does, though. And here's just a closer up of the police station map. And this is the box for Leon Kennedy. And it seems like that's it. So, oh no, I hope you guys enjoy my collection. And there's a lot of things I didn't show because it's just individual things of cases, like the case of Resident Evil 1, and then the case of Resident Evil 1 open, and then 2, and then 2 open. It's a bunch of just stuff that would take way too much time to show. I do have all the original games and stuff. There's a lot of stuff I do have. So, if you did enjoy it, I hope you did enjoy this episode of Justin Talks Games. And if you did, feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And I hope that I'll see you guys in the next episode of Resident Evil 0, which should be on Friday. So I hope to see you there.